Welcome back, everybody, to another funky, fresh episode of 90s Kids R Us. My name is Eddie.
And I'm Jess.
And today we're going all the way back in time, back to the 90s once again, because we're talking about X-Men 97, Season 2. Now that was epic. So we watched X-Men 1, Season 1, right, of 97. Yeah. And now we just watched it's 3 episodes, right?
Yeah, so Disney just released today, 3 episodes for Season 2.
We binged it all 3 episodes of Season 2 that are out now. I want to say the first episode is Past of Future Days, or it's not Something. Days of Future Past, because that's the original, and that's also the title of one of the movies, but it's like Future of Days Past or something like that.
I think that's right. Yeah.
And basically, to kick off Season 2, we've got the X-Men both in the past and in the future. Mm-hmm. So my question to start things off is, which one of the 3 episodes did you enjoy more?
Ooh, good question. I think personally, I'm gonna go with the first one, and the reason why is because I always love the ability to get Nathan, Jean, and why can't I think of his name?
Scott.
Thank
Cyclops.
you. I was gonna say Cyclops, but I wanted to say his actual name.
He's Cyclops.
So together, right? Because like it's a really emotional thing that they let their kid just kind of like leave and grow up without them, and so I always think it's really cool to see them all together.
In our time, we're called the X-Men.
And I also thought it was cool to see kind of how that episode ended, where you watch him at a very pivotal point, and he like gains this additional technology to like add on to himself that I don't know if it quite heals him or like stops it or like just assists him.
It made him like 100% more cyborg. Like it was just like embrace it.
Well, but it wasn't like as painful or something, or it didn't seem like it, because you know how he had like a tech virus. Yep. Then this thing like attaches to him, and I feel like it almost like saves him in a way.
It kind of becomes his Jarvis in a way, right? Because it's like this knowledge, this helper that kind of, it influences him to send his parents back to the past. I was going to say future, but they're in the future. Send them back to the past. And that, obviously, I'm a big Back to the Future fan, and so anytime there's time travel and anything, I'm here for it. Right. So I was immediately excited that not only do we have X-Men in the future, but X-Men in the past.
The X-Men are scattered through time. In the past, from the start of Apocalypse's reign, to the future at the height of his rule.
Yeah.
And I want to say the weaker of the 3 episodes was the whole like Task Force, X-Force, X-Factor episode, which is episode 2. But I get it, because when the X-Men are gone and presumed dead, what does the world look like in a world without X-Men? We see the aftermath of that, and you have... And I thought it was cool because we kind of talked about it a little bit. You have X-Men from the same team now on different sides.
Yeah, and that was really interesting to me. So we'll back up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about this earlier. I'm a Marvel girl, 100%. If we're talking DC or Marvel, I'm Marvel all the way. I am that girl. But I will say I don't know a whole lot about X-Men. Like, that's kind of my least knowledgeable portion of the Marvel universe, if you will.
Yeah.
And so it's really cool to kind of like dive into this and like learn more and see these other aspects of it. But I was like, okay, X-Men, X-Force, X-Factor. I'm like,
X-Factor,
what the
yeah.
heck is going on here? Like, who are these guys associated with now? And like, who do I root for in this moment? But I gotta say, in terms of like name, I always like to go back to the names. In terms of name, X-Force sounds legit.
I actually really
X-Force?
like X-Factor because they're the X Factor, right? Like,
no.
I don't know. I like that a little
I
bit
like
more.
X-Force because it's like a force to be reckoned with,
Sure.
bro. We are the X-Force.
And that's Cable's team, right? Is
That's
the
Cable's
X-Force. And then you have on the other side X-Factor, which has now become sort of this government task force in the wake of the X-Men being gone.
Right.
You have them being hired to basically police and keep the world safe.
Yeah.
Are they good guys? Are they bad guys? We do see that a lot of the people that they have locked up are mutants.
Right.
But not only are they mutants, but they're like children of mutants. There were a lot of kids
weird.
in there, like, so it wasn't just like criminals or, you know, it was a lot of like different types of people and mutants. And so I think they showed that on purpose to make you, the viewer, kind of feel like, are they good or bad?
Well,
Or are they being manipulated too, right?
so good train of thought, because I instantly thought of, when I saw this, like, what the first thing that popped in my brain was like Emperor Palpatine making Star Wars clones or like Jedi clones, and like that was the first thing. I'm like, they're gonna harness their powers and use it for evil.
Execute Order 66.
Like,
we
that's
don't
what's
know.
happening here.
We don't know where it's going,
We
right?
don't.
But they
That's just my
are
speculation.
rounding up mutants. They are, and we don't know if they're all mutants, right? It just looks like, because they
all have
visibly
colors.
show, they visibly show, people who don't look like they're humans, right? They're kind of like
Right.
morphed. They look more like creatures, but they're mutants, right? And then there's some people that look a little normal. So it kind of leads you to maybe think that it's a mixture of both. But what is their agenda? Is there something bigger? Are they
Right.
just policing? Is it just, to keep things in check? Because a world without X-Men, when they were going around saving people, now is there chaos, right? So the government has to step in and do something. But that's kind of what the military's for, right?
Yeah, but if you think about it, like, you have to have a certain kind of military branch to deal with superhuman people, right?
Yeah.
Like how you take regular people versus superhuman people. And that's a big part of like X-Men throughout all of it anyway. You have humans trying to figure out how to coexist with mutants, and then everything goes into chaos because no one knows how to handle it.
All I know is somebody better call Captain America. But and which is really funny because during that episode, I think Morph turns into
Captain America?
No, he turns into Thor. And I was like, oh look, it's Thor.
Yeah, that's right.
And you were
right.
like, nah, that's just Morph turning into Thor. Which I think one of the best parts about the X-Men show is Morph, and the fact that through him you're able to bring back a bunch of characters that maybe have either died in that universe or that are not in that universe, but he can morph into almost anybody, right? Literally anybody. And so Morph is just like one of my, I would say, lower tier X-Men, but he's kind of like moving up for me.
Honestly, like, someone should give Morph more credit,
He's
bro.
dope.
He
He's funny.
can be anything and take over their powers.
Yeah.
Like, that's like the ultimate superhero, to
But
be
what
honest.
I feel like is it's very like short-lived because you see him turn into something and then you see him
Yeah.
turn right back into morph.
Right.
So I don't know if it's
It's like a flash in the pan.
I mean, one of my favorites was always Nightcrawler ever since like seeing him not only in the cartoons but in the X-Men movies. Nightcrawler was like really dope to me. Just flashing everywhere. He saves a lot of people a lot of times.
Right now, I believe in the X-Men.
I feel like he's very underrated as well.
Sure.
Morph, Nightcrawler, because everybody knows it's all about like Wolverine, Cyclops,
Well,
Storm.
sure.
you
And I
know.
would say that prior to watching this series, 100% Wolverine, bro, was my guy. He's
Yeah.
my guy. But watching this series, there's a lot more characters that I kind of now being introduced to that I didn't know before that I'm really taking a liking to, like Jubilee, right? I just had no idea who the heck Jubilee was. But she's so cool. Like she's
Yeah.
a legit cool character. I've also been like a Jean Grey fan.
Okay, yeah,
Right.
it's like
I think she's
I
cool.
know.
Like I like her personality. I like her demeanor.
yeah.
But I still will always have that soft spot for Wolverine because he is
He says it like it is. He's
He is
unfiltered, no fucks
unfiltered.
given. Like,
he's so great and I just love it.
yeah,
He's
you
just
really
like
relate to that. I know, I know.
but yeah, no, 100%. He's great.
And so something that I did bring up when we were watching it is when I was growing up and I was watching this cartoon in the 90s, maybe not as much as my brother. My brother would watch X-Men a lot more, and I would probably catch reruns or here and there. I was more of a Spider-Man fan. The
Sure.
Spider-Man cartoon, I loved to watch. So I probably know a lot more of the storyline of the Spider-Man cartoon, but I did catch some episodes of the X-Men animated series, the original in the 90s. And my favorite character at that time was Jubilee. And so it's really cool to see now the continuation of this show. They still give her a really big part in the show because
Yeah.
I feel like the original focused on her, she being the youngest X-Men of the group, right? The first episode starts off with her. And we went back and we watched the first episode of X-Men. What
Yeah.
did you think about that compared to the X-Men 97 of now?
So I will say like the storylines of these things are really good. Like doesn't matter which version it is.
Yeah.
They do a top notch with that. And you see like in the introduction even in the OG series is this like shout out to comics specifically. Like in the intro it talks
Yeah.
about Marvel comics. Like I don't actually see that in the rest of the X-Men title sequences.
Sure.
It just says X-Men 97 or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's cool because it really does read just like a comic book. And I think that's legit. Now, if we're talking about graphics, boo, I'm sorry, I'm always going to be that girl. The
It is a little
97
rough.
looks really good though.
Yeah.
As like an animation, even as an old school animation, it's pretty rough to watch the old one.
And I'm a big fan of 90s animation, right? Obviously, that's what I grew up with. Ninja Turtles, Spider-Man, X-Men. And even going back and watching the first episode, I can definitely tell how much it's like dated having watched the new ones, and the new ones are just so crisp and clean.
Yeah.
But I can definitely tell the difference in like the animation style too. I was just looking at like Jubilee's hair, how they like do it in the original versus the new one.
Yeah.
New one's a lot more smooth, a lot like she still has that kind of like long hair, but in the original it's kind of messy. It's like very like spiky.
Yeah.
And so I feel like there's just a little more detail in the 90s version of these characters versus like the new version. I feel like the new version, they're just a lot more clean, like a lot more smoothed out.
Yeah, but I like that. Like I
Sure,
like that they're
sure.
a lot more smoothed out, I guess is the thing for me.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I can actually pay attention more because I'm not just cringing at the animation.
There's that word again.
Yep.
Cringe.
Cringe.
Good thing we're doing a 90s podcast.
We gotta get the X-Men back to the 90s.
But
Hey, I gave it some credit, all right? But let's be real. I'm going to be honest with y'all.
yeah. So the first episode, obviously, you focus on Jubilee, but you already jump into it and you see the Sentinels, right?
Yeah.
And they have, they're going and targeting mutants, and that was a big part of season 1 of X-Men '97. Is you had them building these Sentinels when they were supposed to already be destroyed. They have like the Grand Sentinel or something like that. Well, you didn't see a lot of the original X-Men cartoon, but I'm sure you saw it like growing up here and there, right?
Yeah.
Okay. But overall, you would say that you like the new ones a little bit better?
I would say that if I would have really sat down and watched it when I was younger, I probably would love it.
Sure.
I think the story is really what makes it, and the story is really solid all the way around through every single one of them. Doesn't matter. So, but I would say visually, I enjoy obviously watching the new
Okay.
ones.
Well, lucky for you, we are gonna go back and watch all 4 seasons of X-Men the Original, so that you can catch up.
Great.
And you can know what's going on in the new seasons, because apparently you have so many questions.
I do. Okay, so this is the thing. Like I said earlier, like Marvel girl, not a lot of X-Men knowledge.
Yeah.
And so watching 97, just jumping full force right into
Yeah.
97, I'm like, what the heck is going on? Who is all these people
Yeah.
and
You
all
were
the
like,
signals and like
Apocalypse?
what?
Who's that? And I was just
So-
like, oh god.
I must strike them at their most vulnerable. The 1990s.
It's just like, whew. And I'm like, dude, I have so many questions. Like, I have to go back.
Yeah.
I have to understand.
Yeah, so you got to go back, see where it all starts, see what the storyline goes
Yeah.
into. Because when you jump into X-Men 97 season 1, Charles Xavier's dead. The team,
Yeah.
like, they're now under Scott Summers, a Cyclops,
Yeah.
and they're trying to figure out what the world is like after their, like, mentor, father
Sure.
figure leader is gone.
And luckily, I've seen the movies and things like that, so I
Okay.
know who Charles Xavier is. Like, I know
Great.
who the X-Men are. Like, I have, like, some knowledge. I'm not going into this full blank
Who
slate.
is Magneto? No.
But,
That's good.
I
That's
will
good.
say that, like, Marvel in general, you can't just watch something and not go back and watch the rest. They're big on that. Like, you have to go back and watch everything to really understand what's happening in the universe. So it's just a Marvel thing.
Well, they're very smart when it comes to that, because it brings to life their older stuff, their newer
Yeah.
stuff, much like X-Men and X-Men 97, right? Is like, now you have people who enjoy the 97 versions are probably going to go back and watch the original to
Correct.
see where it all came from.
Exactly.
And so I'm really cool with that. I like that.
I think it's
that
great.
aspect of it. It gets kind of annoying sometimes, where like I have to not only watch Daredevil, but I have to watch Punisher, and then I have to know what's going on just so I can watch the new Spider-Man movie, right? Like,
Right.
sometimes I'm like, I just want to watch the Spider-Man movie.
Sure,
you
sure,
know?
sure.
But I get it. I
Yeah.
get it. And speaking of that, like, Spider-Man is going to be coming out soon, and then that leads into
Doomsday.
hopefully Doomsday, which will lead into the Secret Wars, which is probably my favorite, like, Spider-Man arc altogether, because it includes the X-Men.
Yeah.
X-Men, Spider-Man, they all come together and they're all fighting this major giant force and trying to save the universe. And it's just really cool. And that was probably my favorite part about the animated Spider-Man series, is because it was like this big crossover event.
Affirmative.
All right. Bring everyone that I've called for. Now.
where X-Men, the cartoon, then showed up on Spider-Man. And so it was just really cool, and that's something that always stuck with me even till today. And
Yeah.
now going back and watching X-Men, I kind of have that like love for it, because I'm like, oh, I remember what it was like to be growing up and watching that like unfold in real life. And now, live action, right?
Right.
So it's going to be really cool to go and see stuff like that. But as far as X-Men 97, what are some things that either you think are going to happen or that you might be looking forward to in this new season?
Okay, so I'm really interested to see if they wrap this up. So what I mean by that is, if you go back, you see the Sentinels. You know we're all fighting Apocalypse. He's in the original. He's in 97. We have Cable / Nathan, who has this grand destiny. Does he fulfill the destiny, or does he fail, or is it just a vicious cycle because it's time, and there are just certain standard moments in time you can't get away from. It's on every timeline. And so I'm really interested to see, like, in general, are they going to wrap it up or are they going to keep it going?
And that's kind of what I hinted to when, like, I think it's the third episode begins and they go to the past, right?
Yeah.
First episode is the future. Second episode, really smart that they did this, is like now.
Yeah.
And then the third episode is the past.
Right.
So actually really great 3 episodes. But in the third episode, they go back and you were like, what? No, Magneto is the guy who creates Apocalypse. And I was like, well, not necessarily, like not probably originally.
I don't know, dude. Because you see how angry this guy is when he slices that dude's throat. And he straight up looks at him and is like, you betrayed me. Now I'm going to kill this guy. Like,
Well, see, but
I feel
he was also manipulated by that
well,
other guy.
Sure. But if Magneto wouldn't have been a part of it, would he have been as angry as he was when he sliced that dude's throat open?
Correct.
If he would have just done it before, it was like, oh, I'm here to make a statement. Now it was like statement and betrayal, like ultimate
so maybe
fury.
even made it worse.
That's what I'm saying.
right?
And so this could have been the start of it, the actual start of it.
So a little bit butterfly effect, a little bit, like the things that you do in the past affect the future.
Yeah.
We don't know.
We don't know.
I mean, obviously they weren't there originally, but maybe it was one of those like pinpoint times in destiny that no matter what, it always happens. And that's what Cable was talking about in season 1, right? He always went back to Genosha.
And it still fell.
And
every
no
time.
matter what he would do so many different ways, it was that pinpoint in time, like this has to happen.
Right. And so I almost feel like, okay, so is this really the change that they need, or are this what we think is change is something that has always happened?
Correct. And so I'm kind of looking forward to that, to see what they do with the whole Cable storyline. Does he actually change? Because the Cable that we see, especially in the present, is like no fucks given. He's killing people.
Right.
And Jubilee's not with that. She's like, that's not what X-Men are.
Exactly.
But in Cable's future, it's like do or die.
Yeah, so and you got to know that has always been a part of Nathan's journey, or Cable's journey, is from out the get-go, he was thrown away as a kid to basically fight or flight. Like, this is this guy's complete internal profile.
Yeah.
So I think that's a hard thing for someone to break. So to your point, we'll see how long Jubilee's with this guy.
Yeah, she looked like she was like, oh, what? But they do talk to him because there's the the instance in which they're contemplating leaving Jubilee behind because she gets captured or whatever. And Cable's like, Jubilee can take care of herself. She has to. Like, we don't have time to go back and save her. And her boyfriend, I think it's like Sunspot.
Something like that.
Sunspot, I don't actually know his
The
name.
solar guy.
But the solar dude, Sunspot, is like, no. Like, X-Men would go back and save her. That's what X-Men do. So you have these, like, young children who are newer X-Men telling like Cable, who lives in a completely different kind of lifestyle, and they're like, no, this is what it means to be an X-Men. We don't leave people behind. We go back and save our people. And he seems like he struggles with it, but he ultimately listens. So I'm curious to see if maybe they can kind of like change him over time.
So that's an interesting theory, and I think they will. I think there'll be a little bit of both, because there's something to be said. His grin and his smile when he saw Jubilee bust out and like get out there, I almost feel like it was a test. Like,
Maybe,
you know,
yeah.
is Jubilee worth being on the X-Force? Is she
the X Factor?
like that we're looking for kind of thing, right? Because they're recruiting.
Correct. He does
And
go back.
so-
He recruits them.
I almost wonder if it's kind of like, well, if she is going to become a part of this team, which has a greater purpose, can she defend herself and like get herself out of a jam?
And he knows she can, which is like she's
Right.
gonna do it. And so when she does, it does bring that smile to his face,
Yeah.
and he's like, "See, told you."
See y'all.
And he even tells them, he's like, "I trained you guys. Like, you know what to do. Go execute. You're gonna be fine."
Right.
But they are still, like, you got to think about it. They're still actually really young in their journey of being X-Men, especially
True.
the new guy, Sunspot.
Oh, 100%.
They recruited him in
He
the
just
97.
got there. Yeah.
And he's telling Cable what it's like to be an X-Men. And so
Yeah.
it's just really cool that kind of like, hey, I don't know how you do it in the future, but this is what it means to be an X-Men.
our time right
Yeah.
now, bro. What are you doing?
But they straight up kill that horseman. I think it's War. Like they
Yeah.
just murder him.
Yeah,
And
different.
Jubilee's not with it. But it's really cool. Like, one of the parts that I thought was great is you see the old X-Men person. I didn't really catch her name, but I guess she used to be on the
With the green
X-Men.
hair.
And she left, but she actually lets Jubilee go. So
Well,
you see
yeah.
sort of that, like, hey, you're an X-Men. Like,
Well, I think they had a conversation prior, and I think that may have gotten to her,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And to your point, we don't know if the X Factor is good or not at this
Correct.
point. Well, so you know,
because it's led
we'll
by
see.
like one of those senators, that one chick who
Bruh,
just
this
does not
chick, I
seem to
cannot
get it.
stand her.
Yeah.
I just want to smack her around.
She's been on the wrong side of almost everything, right?
Yeah, her and that. What's the other chick? The diamond chick. What's her name?
Oh, Emma Frost.
So I got a love-hate relationship with Emma Frost because
Because you love diamonds.
no, her business acumen is top notch, bro.
Yeah.
You can't knock it. But also, you know, she's in it for herself,
Sure, of course, yeah.
and she's two-faced, and I can't stand that either. No loyalty here, and so I just don't know how I feel. Love hate, love hate.
Okay. So, something that, real quick, that you're looking forward to, I know you said kind of thinking of, but who would you like to see maybe get a whole episode going forward in the rest of the season?
It's the time travel guy.
Yes. It's Bishop.
Bishop. I think I'd like to know more about him.
Yeah, because he
Be-
comes and goes.
Yeah,
right?
well, and he's also from, I think, the same
He's
timeline
from
as Cable.
Well, he took Cable to. He was supposed to take Cable to his timeline.
Right, and they got
And they got separated.
right, but
Cable
he
went to
came
his
from,
own
I
timeline.
think,
A future
what?
in which everything was falling apart.
Sure, but
Yeah.
was that Cable's or no?
No,
It was past his.
like Cable.
Like more into the future.
Cable went. I think maybe. Yeah, I think Bishop's future is even further than Cable's.
Okay.
I think. So that would be cool to see a little more of Bishop and maybe his future, right? Because we haven't really seen that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I feel like he may be more a part of this than we realize. Like,
Sure.
he might end up being, like, the key to a lot of these things, and we just don't really know a lot about him. So I'd like to see more.
I'm curious to see, just for me, more of Magneto because I feel like he's actually grown a lot.
Okay, that's
Like,
true.
when I grew up, Magneto was always the bad guy. Bad guy, for sure. He's the opposite of Professor Xavier. But from the intro into him in X-Men 97, you see he still has that old ways where he can totally just go crazy and kill everybody. But he doesn't. He chooses not to. And he even says, don't make me like regret my decision, and don't make me be the bad guy, basically, right? He's like, don't not tempt me, but don't make me prove you right. That's what he says.
Well,
don't make me prove you right. And so I feel like he just has had a lot of growth, and he's really actually trying to do the right thing in his own little Magneto way.
Sure.
Because even Apocalypse, Xavier's completely against it. He's like, no, that's our ultimate foe. Like, why would you even try to, talk to him or trust him? And Magneto is really like, well, let's see. Maybe we can change him. Maybe we can affect things. But I feel like maybe he does have his own agenda too.
Well, I think it's definitely he has his own agenda for one. But
he's just so smart.
I also think that when Xavier died, it changed things for him. Because Xavier was his best friend before they went in their two separate ways of doing things.
Yeah.
And I think anytime there's a death for anybody, that's a pivotal moment to look at yourself and say, okay, what am I doing with my life?
Like reflection, yeah.
Right. And so I think that's part of it. But at the core of who he is, I don't know that he's on the same playing field
like
as...
he's a bad guy still?
Yeah, like,
okay.
And I'm not saying bad guys can't be redeemed, okay? I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is, I think he'll always have a personal agenda.
Yeah, and he does have his power, right?
Yep.
So he's not as, like, power hungry as Apocalypse, right? Because Apocalypse is just like, I want to crush everybody.
Right.
But Magneto does utilize the fact that he has powers to kind of be like, well, I'm in control. Like, you have nothing to do about it. So with all that being said, I'm really excited to see where his arc goes, especially now that Xavier is alive, because the first half of the season we didn't know he was.
Dead,
yeah. And he was just in space trying to get married and shit.
So weird. What a weird side arc.
Yeah.
Bro. I was like, what is happening right now?
But they did the right thing and they brought him back because he is the leader of the X-Men. As much as, like, obviously Scott Summers, Cyclops, is the team leader, it's always the X-Men, right?
Yeah.
So, any last thoughts before we say goodbye to these fine folks?
I'm excited for what the rest of the season is going to look
More
like.
X-Men.
More X-Men.
And excited to go back and watch the original.
Yeah, I'm excited to have some questions answered, for sure. Absolutely.
And with that being said, we have reached the end of our episode. So if you like what you saw here today, go ahead and hit like and subscribe for more content just like this. And until next time, friends, my name is Eddie.
I'm Jess.
And we are 90s Kids R Us.